Hello, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful edition here of Level Up Mental Health. I'm your host here, Swizz. We got a good topic here to cover. It's about journaling. So we'll kind of review what journaling is, how it can be beneficial, some strategies if we feel that we're having difficulty in doing it, and being able to kind of maybe look at a few prompts that might kind of help you get into it. Okay. So as always, let's dive into that little worksheet we got here, and here we are. So what the purpose of journaling is being able to kind of get your thoughts from your mind into a physical space. To me, I think this is one of the most important skills to really just kind of encourage the clients I work with, because when you think about things that are bothering you or issues that you may have in that sense as well, there's so many other thoughts that are going in your mind that's really hard to kind of focus on that, right? So if you can bring it into a physical realm, let's say if it's a paper or writing on your phone, it allows you to look at that thought that you're having for whatever it is, or maybe you're just trying to vent in that sense. We'll get to that in a sec, but being able to kind of look at those thoughts and be able to kind of look at them in a different way, because now it's on physical space. They're not going to disappear. They're written down, and it allows you to truly analyze that thought that you had, right? Now, as I was saying earlier too, it journaling can be used for a lot of variety of things. Being able to process thoughts and feelings, and maybe you need to use it to vent about certain things, to kind of get out that feeling and emotion that you may have. Being able to increase the awareness, being able to help identify symptoms or patterns you may have, right? One of the biggest things that is also helpful is a historical record of progress that you've made or difficulties you've encountered. It allows you to kind of flip back through time in a way and be able to kind of think about what was your mental state at this moment, to be able to kind of recognize, okay, so I could see how I may have responded here. I could see how this was difficult for me to handle this, right? So ultimately, that's the purpose of journaling: being able to just get those thoughts out in a physical space, either if it's again written down, typed up, on your phone, whatever it is, and being able to analyze them and reflect over them, or just kind of get out the emotion that you're experiencing. So, a lot of this kind of resource here is related to telling the benefits of it. Obviously reducing anxiety, even physical aspects relate to it. Like obviously, if you're getting the tension out in a particular way, it's allowing you to be able to reduce kind of like the cortisol activations, right? So everything, all the benefits, decreased depression, decreased stress, things of that nature, all are benefit from that. And there's a bunch of resources here to continue to emphasize that as well too. A lot of kind of redundancy for it too. But I think what's important to is be able to kind of know how to do it, right? A lot of the time you may feel like, oh, I don't really know what to do or really what to say, and ultimately at the end of the day, you want to make it your own. What's going to be helpful for you? Think about that before you go into it, of what's going to be helpful for you to be able to practice journal and for it to be optimal for you, right? The more you're able to kind of think about what would be beneficial and what would be helpful, it may allow you to be able to really just kind of hone in of like, okay, like here's my strategy for what I need to do for journaling, right? So some tips that we have here, obviously be able to pick a time of day that suits you to write the journal. Setting a regular time is helpful, but it can be flexible. Obviously, if things are kind of going on, see if you can pivot or try to adjust it if you need to. Express your feelings. Be able to kind of start with that of what's going on, what are you feeling in this moment. Allow yourself to kind of name them in that sense and be able to kind of move on from that to identify thoughts and any patterns that may occur from that as well. Being able to start small, a few minutes for your subject is going to be helpful in that sense. A lot of time we're putting that pressure on ourselves to feel we need to complete this novel, when at the end of the day, like you said, you want to make it your own. So make it personal, make it impactful, and you might be surprised, what can happen along the way there. Ultimately, again, you want to be able to create and express from what you how from where from, you want to. I cannot talk. Create and express from what you want in your life and how you feel. And ultimately, again, the emphasis is that there are no rules, right? This is your skill. This is your area to do. And the more that you kind of emphasize and recognize that This is your safe space for whatever you need to do. The better it will be able to handle it, right? To recognize that, to be aware of the things you need to do or the patterns you're recognizing in that sense, right? Don't worry about spelling, punctuation. No one here's the judge. Again, one of those things where we feel that it may have to be perfect. You're having those thoughts and feelings. Just kind of throw it all down, and you might be surprised what comes out. And the last kind of here, like we mentioned a little bit here, choose the medium that suits you. Journaling app, write on a paper, computer, record. I always like the voice memos. That's kind of a good way to do that too if you feel like speaking it out. I've even encouraged other clients to like record themselves in a way to really help them to be able to just kind of get it out. That's the ultimate goal is getting those feelings out. So one of the things is if you feel you want to resort to a journaling prompt, I know like on the iPhone they have the like a particular prompt and you can like activate like a location or something like that, and they'll give you an ideas associated for where you're at the moment. But other things, some examples that they have here. If you're interested, you can kind of pause the screen here, and there's some other journaling prompts to use if you feel again you're wanting to do that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's you want to make it your own. You want to make sure you're able to treat it in the way that's going to be helpful for you, that's going to be beneficial, it's going to be a safe space for you. And the more that you do it, the more you practice it, hopefully the more impactful it will be for you. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe. Otherwise, I'll check you next time.